All right, welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel. My name is Chris, and I'm here to bring you guys the high-rev perspective.
And my name is Josh, and I'll be bringing the low-rev perspective.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new track synthesis, and I'm going to be comparing that to the track Paragon Shadow and the hammer maximum effect.
And I'll be comparing it to the hammer Zero Mercy Solid and the Ebonite Spartan. These comparisons will give us and you an idea of what these pieces look like going down the lane. At the end, we will give our honest, unbiased review anywhere from nuts to trash. Today, we are here at Bolero Mesa on a fresh house shot. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you out on the lanes.
After seeing the track synthesis go down the lane, this one to me is another one of those balls that fit in the strong and smooth category, but just like towards the tail end of that category. And for me in my game, having a higher rev rate, I feel like those balls just kind of have a little bit more versatility for me, just because if they're a little too strong, sometimes they're just a little bit too much ball for me. So a little bit weaker kind of in that category makes me feel like I'm gonna be able to throw this quite a bit, and it looked pretty good here. It still wanted to be pretty early, so it kind of forced me a little bit further left. Coming off the end of the pattern, I feel like it was still responsive enough to get around the corner and still go through the pins, which I really like. This one seemed pretty continuous for me, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw the track Paragon Shadow and see how that compares. All right, after seeing the Paragon Shadow go down the lane, these two are pretty similar. I just think the only difference is the Paragon Shadow is a little bit more forward coming off the end of the pattern. They both wanted to see the end of the pattern kind of in the same area, or kind of wanted to start the change of direction in the same area, but the synthesis actually retained a little bit more energy and went through the pins, and the track Paragon Shadow is just a little bit more forward, doesn't quite continue quite as much as the synthesis. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the maximum effect and see how that compares. After seeing the maximum effect go down the lane, to me this one felt quite a bit weaker and a little bit more rounded. Here it felt like it never really wanted to see the pattern, and I'm not sure if it's just because of how lane shine it is, but it didn't want to see the pattern quite nearly as much as the other two balls. To me, I had to be quite a bit further to the right and really slow with my ball speed to really get this one to kind of shape the right way. I think overall it's a little bit more rounded and not quite as dynamic off the end of the pattern as the synthesis for sure. All right, final thoughts on the track synthesis. With how sanded it came out of box, I thought it would be slightly earlier, but with it being a little bit more down lane, I feel like is a good sign for me, just because I don't really need that help in the front as much. And so if I can see a strong and smooth ball kind of float down the lane a little bit more, fits my eye pretty well. So to me, I think this one's gonna go in the fire category. It looked really good here, and I'm really curious to see what this looks like in other centers.
Just wrapped up throwing 10 shots with the new track synthesis. This ball for me was one of the cleaner, bigger ASIMs big balls for me. I felt like this one had a cleanness to it in a sense where it almost didn't even feel like it was a solid. It felt like it had a part pearl in there, and in some cases. I liked it though, just because I felt like it was a nice, smooth, predictable reaction. For me, it wasn't really hard to get to pocket with this guy, but it was kind of difficult sometimes to get it through the pocket. But again, overall, I really like the shape. Not the biggest ball out there, but definitely a bigger option compared to all big balls. And now I'm gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Zero Mercy Solid and see how it compares. just threw 5 shots with the Zero Mercy solid. For me, I could instantly see how much earlier and bigger this ball was compared to the Synthesis. I felt like it was a lot more forward and picked up about 2 zones sooner. I had to play a little straighter with it to kind of almost use the hold, where the Synthesis, I was trying to really get it to a friction spot, just because I felt like I didn't want to hook as much off of oil. But again, you can clearly see the differences between them. Zero Mercy solid for me would be a ball up, something I would go to first and then to the Synthesis once the Zero started to kind of flat 10 and give me a lazy reaction. So now we're going to go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Ebonite Spartan and see how it compares. The Ebonite Spartan compared to the Synthesis was definitely more similar. I did feel, however, it was a bit earlier and a little stronger. These are definitely a lot closer than like as if the Zero compared to the Synthesis. I felt like they were, again, about 2 boards different, and I really felt it based off the end of the pattern. For me, the Spartan was already kind of forward rolling and already wanting to go, where the Synthesis kind of waited that extra second for me. Overall, just about, I would say about 2 boards earlier, pushed me a little bit further left. Final thoughts on the track Synthesis. For me, this was a little bit of a tough one because I didn't feel like I had an issue getting to the pocket, but I felt like I had an issue getting through the pocket. So for me, again, still kind of unsure, but I think I'm going to push it to just into that fire category. I do think that with a little bit of surface that this would kind of see it a little bit nicer in the oil. I didn't really have a problem when it got to friction. Again, I just felt like only the one miss was there. But for me, it was kind of in the middle, but I am going to push it to fire for today.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.